Thanks, Tom. Now, I am pretty sure after watching this you will vacillate between both residential investing and brownfield investing. I think that is healthy. It is good to have options. Before going any further, why spend the next few minutes listening to me? Well, it's only fair for me to give you a little bit of background. And by the way, I only mention this for context, not to sound important. Before my property career, I was a regulated corporate financial advisor for 14 years, so very familiar with creating and protecting wealth. Over the last 20 years since then, I have bought, held, and sold land and property as a developer on my own and with partners. Back in 2008, my development company, which I co-founded, was operating on 4 continents, and at that time, we had combined CBRE gross development value of over $1.5 billion. So I got the t-shirt, won some trophies, and have a hell of a lot more war wounds. So I guess it's fair to say I know a thing or two about property investing and development. So what are we covering? Firstly, why invest now in brownfield sites that have potential to be turned to residential? We're going to look at some live deals that others like you have invested in, and I will explain the process and next steps for investors. What is the opportunity, you ask? In any recession, there are opportunities in all property sectors. Opportunities that often come out of nowhere and need to be closed fast because more often than not, they are distressed. Distressed, of course, means opportunities to buy assets below their true value. So why are we suggesting brownfield investment rather than residential? The answer is simple: timing and returns. The team I am working with have been involved in over £4.5 billion of property transactions historically. More recently delivered over 5,000 residential units, which they actually specialise in. Before the recession, they were already specialising in unearthing real value by buying assets at a discount. Normally because of issues with contamination. Sounds risky? Well, hold that thought for a moment. Now, add a recession to the mix, and quite simply, there are some incredible deals to be done right now, if you know what you're doing. Utopia for the team is finding and then buying a contaminated site that is distressed, and where possible, not currently for sale. And vitally, the team believe there is a very good chance that they will get change of use to residential. So let's look at some of the reasons why you should consider investing. Firstly, the team are looking at targeted returns on average of 2 to 3 times, equity multiple to investors, so excellent targeted returns. A deal that is just completed actually returned 3.8 times the equity multiple in just 24 months. So if an investor invested 100k in this example, the total return would have been 380k. Not bad. The typical time for each deal is 9 to 36 months, so equity is deployed quickly with a fairly fast exit target. There is no construction risk. The team are not looking to put bricks in the ground. The team are specialists in getting change of use on these types of sites. Often the team cover all of the planning costs. In short, their goal and job is to get planning and then flip to a developer or house builder, maximizing the opportunity. I mentioned the 4.5 billion just now, but what I forgot to say is, and to their enormous credit, the team has never failed to get planning permission for a site they have acquired or worked on. Let's be clear, there are risks with any property deal. The risks for each deal is spelt out in the information memorandum. By the way, they also look to ensure abortive planning fees, which de-risks further. Our investors will often rank pari passu with institutional investors. So what, you might ask? Well, here is the answer. The institutional investors all have in-house teams of very bright individuals who pull every deal they do to pieces to assess the investment opportunity and the risk. If they sign off on an investment, you can be sure they believe in the deal. And here is the cool part. You get to see their DD. This level of DD would normally cost you thousands of pounds. Plus, the cost of this DD would all be at risk if you decided to not invest. So you get the comfort of knowing the institutions are investing and they are comfortable with the deal. Good news. Okay, hopefully that gives you some very strong reasons to consider brownfield investments and investing with this team. So to recap, excellent targeted ROIs, typically short investment timeframes, specialists with significant success and track record. You have heard the saying, success leaves clues. You get to follow the institutions into deals. Let's look at a deal that the team has just sold to one of the UK's largest, most recognised house builders. Now the proof is in the pudding. What have you done lately, you ask? Let's go look. Before we do, I meant to say that the team's sweet spot is land that has contamination issues. Where there is muck, there is money. No truer saying when it comes to brownfield with contamination. I forgot to mention, and it's an important point, the team do work on transactions that are vanilla. Not all sites have contamination issues. Example, we're currently reviewing a portfolio of land parcels which sit in the custom self-build space. More of that on another video and podcast to come from me. Now, let's go look at these two great deals. Deal 1. The site was farming land in Blackburn that had been used for landfill. The team got an option to buy, cleaned the site up, and got planning permission for 450 homes. Job done. Let's look at the headline numbers and investor returns and equity multiple. So, a contaminated site, complicated, and a no-no for most developers. The team had a good idea that planning would be sought for change of use, profitable, and a great deal for the early equity investors. 3.8 times equity multiple achieved. Not bad. Now let's look at a live deal that is already 100% funded. It's an old industrial estate where the buildings are full of asbestos. The site is 72 acres, of which 32 is being submitted to planning for change of use to residential. Initial conversations with the local planners are very positive, and the team also has a number of conversations ongoing with house builders, all ready to acquire the site once outline planning has been achieved. You will see the investor deal for this project is returning 3.2 times equity multiple and again exit at around the 24-month period. Okay, I'm hoping you can now see why we think you should put investing into brownfield projects on your radar. Now, hopefully you are still with me. Next, the 6-step process. There are 6 steps that we and our investors go through. 1. The team speak to the owner and find out what he or she wants. Straight sale now, sale on planning where he or she, they get an uplift. Do they want a JV? Will they give an option? Always preferred. Every deal is different. 2. The team do their own DD to assess the deal. They review the local plan for the area, speak to planners. Would the site be attractive to a house builder developer? Expected planning costs, project the financials, valuation, the whole 9 yards. 3. If a site is a green light, the team create an information memorandum which highlights the strategy, investment opportunities and risks. This document will go out to our institutional investors and people like you. I forgot to say, Luttrell Private Office is exclusively mandated to raise capital for these deals, so it's a closed shop to my connections. So, you are in a good place. I have to say, these deals are not for novice property investors, so if you are new to investing, this is not for you, but thanks for taking the time out. 4. Investors have 2 weeks to give us an initial yes or no, and then circa 4 weeks to get comfortable with the DD. During this time, we will be asking for the amount of your commitment and proof of funds, and there is a booking fee. We will also set the closing date. During this period, you get to ask as many questions you and your lawyer wants to ask. We are an open book. 5. The deal gets closed. A special purpose company is set up for each deal. This company will own the site and you will co-own the SPV along with other investors, unless of course you place the full investment yourself. 6. The Renaissance team get to work with a clear plan and goal to get a change of use for the proposed scheme. So there you have it. Is it different to initially investing in residential? Yes. Are the returns potentially far greater than residential? Yes. Are the opportunities solid? Yes. Otherwise, the institutions would not invest and lend. Investment periods are typically 9 to 36 months. Do investors own the company and the asset? Yes. Are there risks? Yes.